I kind of was always afraid of them because I always saw them as this larger than life entity that was like, they knew my every move and they were constantly outplaying me. And if I were to like personify them, they were this giant monster that I couldn't really defeat. But they kind of thrive on like coordination and the existence of all four of them. So like, generally what I do when I notice that a team is trying to bully me, like they want to get in your head, they want you to stress out. So I kind of like fake it till I make it, like, you know what, I nod and I'm like, no, yeah, I wanted to miss. That was my intention. Or I like spin around if they're like really getting in my way. Tunneling is your best friend against people that are being super fucking altruistic. And there is some semblance of like peace of mind if they're all swarming you, then you kind of don't have to worry about gens.
That is true. That's the hardest thing for me to remember, that every single time that a survivor is near me, they're not doing a generator.
Exactly.
And that's good.
Like, it's scarier when you're not seeing the survivors, because, like, I think it feels so much worse to, like, get your first chase done and then have 3 gens pop than it is for, like, your first chase to be interrupted by a bunch of survivors trying to sabotage.
Yeah.
Because they're really, they're not playing seriously. That kind of is what gave me peace of mind. They are not... They're playing aggressively, but this is not how you win if you want to win as Survivor.
Yeah. Definitely hard for me to remember that, because like whenever there's a bully squad, I always get super stressed out about them. And because I don't know why, but instead of having the opposite effect of like, oh yeah, maybe if I just play a little more like mess around stuff, I end up like trying to try hard as much as possible. For some reason, it makes it so that I kind of notice my mistakes more.
They're noticing your mistakes more, and therefore you're probably noticing your mistakes more.
Yeah, that like bully squads, I feel like punish your mistakes a lot more than a normal squad usually does.
How do you handle frustration when you're having a particularly frustrating game?
What I usually do is I either just kind of brute force it until the game is over, or if it's just so frustrating, I just DC. Because like I play this game to have fun, and like I'm not having fun in that match, and they're there to make sure I'm not having fun.
You don't have to justify DCing. I think that like as like it is your game to play, and there is a lot of comfort in having a way out. So if a game is truly just really getting to you, then I think that's better than, you know, spiraling into anger.
Yeah, I don't like getting angry, honestly. It makes me feel so bad. I like to try and be chill and like have fun, but like when it makes me angry, it just... yeah.
The fact that we call aggressive survivors bully squads, like, that kind of puts a divide between survivors and killers.
Yeah.
I think that the amount of survivors that go into a game just to make killers miserable is in the vast minority. By saying you're being bullied, or by like giving that label to them, it makes them seem like it kind of lessens the nuance of the match. I think it's almost never as simple as this person is playing this way because they want me to be upset.
Yeah. If I decide to play usually after I get like a bully squad, I usually just stop playing because I'm just so like angry or like I'm shaking. But if I do end up playing, even if they're like the nicest survivors, I just have no mercy.
Hey man, I've tried after tough games. Like they can really get to you, and that is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of humanity. These games, like, they are not. We're not soulless, and we respond to the way people treat us.
Yeah, that's honestly a lot. That's pretty comforting, actually, because I do love this game. I really like I do want to play it more. It just. I don't want to be put off of playing killer because of those people, you know? I guess the best way to do that is to make sure they're not like, or to kind of put in my mind that they're not like like a boogeyman or something. If they're playing super altruistically, then that's just free gen slowdown
That's free
technically.
10 slowdown. That's free blood points. I mean, I've never had a bully squad that I didn't get over 30,000 blood points from.
That is true. I do get a lot of blood points from bully squads.
Yeah, because there's a lot more chases and hits and downs, like, and that all contributes to getting blood points. Because they're throwing their health states around.
They're not playing super. They're playing selflessly a lot.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like these like bully squads, like they're actively trying to make your day worse?
I honestly, yeah. I don't know what it is. Like sometimes whenever I see like a squad that's trying to bully me, it appears in my mind that like they are there specifically to make my day awful.
Well, you say
like,
you've actually played a lot of Survivor, right? Like you play
yes.
more. You arguably play more Survivor than Killer, or at least half.
Yes.
Do you ever play with the intention of making the Killer miserable?
No. I try my best to be kind of chill. Like, I mean, there is some times where I do end up getting caught in like a mood where I end up like maybe doing some stupid stuff, like shining the flashlight at them or like being super altruistic. But I try my best to make sure that while I'm having a good time, the killer's also having a good time.
It is harder to be nice to the killer in a way that isn't hurting your team, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Survivor kindness comes in forms of comes in like very like perk choices and things that you don't really see. What killers see is the worst of what survivors do rather than the best, because a survivor being nice to a killer is throwing the game. Like that's what that is.
Yes.
When I was playing Billy, I've had survivors choose to go to different loops that were easier to curve around so that I could practice curving. And that is a very like small decision, but it meant a lot to me.
That is pretty wholesome, actually.
It's a lot harder to find nicer survivors, and I hear that sentiment a lot. I don't think it's very fair to think that people will just betray their team for the sake of politeness.
Yeah.
Or perceived politeness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I actually agree with you on that. I have nothing to say on that. I do like my matches a little bit on the competent team, the competent survivor side.
You like a struggle.
But yes, a little bit of a struggle, but not so much that I feel like I'm powerless, which is like where the anxiety comes in and stuff.
It kind of does sound like your relationship with this game and your approach to killer will really only mature with, I guess, age or hour count. Because you're kind of in a similar spot that I was when I had 500 hours. And again, that I imagine that's not a great thing to hear. It's like, just play more.
Yeah.
But there's just going to be that residual anxiety for a while until you have to come to the conclusion that your losses is not tied to your self-esteem, to your ego. That is not something that can really be taught. That's something that you have to reach on your own.
I have to practice it and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah. Because it's just a game, and tying my self-worth to that is really hard to not do sometimes.
Yeah, because you're literally playing as yourself. Like, it doesn't help that the first person, like, you are not disconnected from this character. You become this character, and by losing, it feels like you are losing, not the xenomorph.
Wow, actually, that makes so much sense, actually. Because in Survivor, you're in third person, so you're kind of disconnected. You're kind of like hovering behind the survivor as you're doing stuff. But as a killer, you are the... Wow.
You are the killer.
I am the killer.
That's actually a great video topic. I might add that to the video idea list.
That's one for the books. But I will make sure to practice learning that it's just like I shouldn't tie my self-worth to losing. Because the one thing I've learned from other YouTubers and stuff, because I do look up this topic a lot of how to not get stressed by killer, because it's just always kind of up there. But like one thing that I heard about was attributing like the fact that your game like adds to a much higher goal that you have, like instead of just like...
What's your goal?
my goal is to just get better at the Xeno, and each game helps me get there. While I am sometimes losing and I am sometimes getting bullied and all that stuff, it's still contributing to my goal of getting good at the Xenomorph.
Literally anything except for giving up contributes to your goal of getting better at the Xenomorph, because every single interaction you have contributes to this, like, complete concept that you have of it. You know, like how to play Xenomorph. Every single game you play of them adds to that guide that you have in your head.
Because, like, for each map I do, I learn the spots that you can use the tail and where you can shoot over, and where the hitboxes are really crappy and it looks like it should go through, but it doesn't.
So I guess losses aren't a complete loss then, right?
That is, yes. I'm happy I signed up for that sheet, actually.
I'm happy you signed up too. It's been a great conversation.
Yes, I am very, very happy. Yeah, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you for being talked to, and